This is from Kisane Anime. Oh, I remember them. I actually did a video with of them before. Okay, let me see. How a furniture store designer created Kagurabachi. Let's see. It's only 10 minutes long. Let's knock it out.
When it comes to Weekly Shonen Jump, every generation has its legends. From creators like Akira Toriyama, who birthed the modern-day shonen battle template, to Eiichiro Oda, who to this day is one of the shining examples of long-term storytelling and world-building. And in our current era, we're watching a passing of the torch unfold. The modern-day creators who we once saw as Shonen Jump's next generation, like Gege Akutami, Kohei Horikoshi, and Tatsuki Fujimoto, are now some of the most well-known manga authors of their time. And with so many series now ending made by creators like this, the time has come that they are now passing the torch to the next generation of mangaka, who will go down in Shonen Jump history and become legends in their own right. Takeru Hokazono is one of these legends in the making. Takeru Hokazono.
I wish they had like a mountain, like you know how in Naruto they have like in the Leaf Village they have like the Mount Rushmore of Hokage. They should have like the Mount Rushmore of like mangaka of all time. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. You see the heads of those who came before, and then instead of putting like I guess the heads of those people, you put the heads of their characters and put your name under them. So like for like Deku you put Horikoshi, and then you put for Gege you put like whoever he chooses. I guess he would choose like your Yuji Itadori or probably Gojo, and then for Akira Toriyama, it's Goku. You know what I'm saying? Like you put Goku's head, but you put Akira Toriyama. So like it's all the ones that represent before and came. That and then you put the year too. When like you put the year of when the anime started, and then where the anime ends, and then you put the year of the creator when they was born and when they died. Yeah, like for Horikoshi right under Deku, and then put Deku's head. You put Horikoshi right under his like a thing, and then you put the time my hero started the year, and then where the end from the manga and then the animation, and the same thing. Like you just show like a bioscript of what happened. What do you mean?
No, is a bit of an enigma. He is one of the youngest, possibly even the youngest author currently writing for Shonen Jump at the ripe age of 25. Yet his manga is so well crafted that you'd think it was made by an industry veteran. And the craziest part is that he did all of this on a whim. So how? How did he just come out of nowhere and drop the biggest smash hit of Shonen Jump's new generation of manga? Well, our story starts in the early 2000s when Hokazono was just a little kid. It was here that his interest in art would be sparked by a certain ninja battle manga by the name of Naruto.
We were a Naruto family. My father would bring home the collections and we'd all read them.
As time went on, Hokazono would gain even more interest. In particular, he was a huge fan of Western cinema, most notably the works of directors like Christopher Nolan, David Fincher, Chad Stahelski, and of course Quentin Tarantino, whose films would go on to become a massive inspiration for him. That said, while Hokazono did enjoy doing art, drawing characters akin to what he had seen in manga and film wasn't something he was dead set on doing for the rest of his life. In fact, when he started college, his major wasn't very extraordinary at all.
I majored in product design and was creating furniture and chairs. I liked drawing, but I wasn't doing much of it in university. However, I've always loved Naruto, and I've always vaguely thought manga is great. I want to become a manga artist.
The year was now 2020, and due to the pandemic, Hokazono's university switched to online classes.
I always like how when you always hear these type of stories, it's never like they just woke up one day and says, I'm going to be the next something and become that thing. It's always under the situation of circumstance. You notice that? Hey, Nathaniel. What's going on, bud? But, I'm sorry about that. Hope you feel better. Yeah, you notice that? Like, it's always under, like, circumstance. It's never really, like, they just set out to do that one thing their entire life and had that planned out. It's always, like, a circumstantial thing.
Cooped up in his house with not a lot to do, he decided that he would just, give drawing manga a try. Obviously, he had no experience drawing
Thank you for subbing.
manga, so he learned from already existing examples. And according to him, he found the process of making manga very difficult. But he wanted to keep going, and so he decided that if he was going to be serious about this, he couldn't just treat it like a hobby. And so, Hokazono would drop out of college to focus on manga full-time. Surprisingly, to the approval of his parents, who were very supportive of this decision. And hey, maybe they could see into the future or something, because success is what would follow almost immediately after. Hokazono would release his first official manga in April of 2021. A one-shot titled Intent, and it was this debut work that would begin to put Hokazono on the map. This manga would greatly impress the judges at Shueisha's 100th Tezuka Awards, a panel that included huge names like Kazue Kato, Takehiko Inoue, Kohei Horikoshi, Eiichiro Oda, Akira Toriyama. That is an incredibly intimidating lineup of judges, and the fact that they decided to award Hokazono for his work, his debut work mind you, was an absolute testament to his raw skill. Hokazono would go on to make a few more one-shots, however, it wasn't until 2023 when he would really start to make waves in the industry with his first ongoing manga, Kagurabachi. Kagurabachi was born from a number of influences and motivations. Hokazono really liked the concept of a revenge story, naturally when you consider the kinds of films that he enjoyed, stuff like Kill Bill and John Wick. Of course, this is what Hokazono simply found to be cool, but he also wanted to lean into this angle because he felt as though it was something that Shonen Jump had been lacking at the time.
I wanted to offer a new manga with a quiet, discreet, and dark protagonist, and since there aren't many manga with a revenge theme in Jump, I created Kagurabachi.
And so a revenge story it would be. However, the influence
saw his potential. Let's go.
Of Western cinema did not end there. In fact, it permeates throughout the entire manga. When reading Kagurabachi, one of the biggest takeaways I often see people cite is just how cinematic this manga feels. And that's because Hokazono is a master when it comes to perspective. According to him, when laying out any scene, he always tries to put the camera in a spot that will offer the most interesting or striking perspective. And this is demonstrated no better than in his absolutely stellar fight scenes. This is where Hokazono's love for action films becomes incredibly apparent. Most notably, his love of John Wick and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. In fact, the latter was such a large inspiration for Kagurabachi that The Winter Soldier actually served as the primary inspiration for the character Genichi Sojo. Which, when you put the two characters side by side, yeah, that's...
Yeah, you can kind of see it. I can see it.
Not really.
Oh god, I can see it. Oh my god, you can see it. Damn. Okay.
All that surprising. This principle doesn't just apply to the fight scenes, however, but also the overall aesthetic and vibe. Something really funny about Hollywood is that when it comes to Japan, a lot
I am looking so forward to Galactic. I'm so looking forward to Galactic.
of the time you'll see very over-the-top depictions of the country. And this is something that Hokazono actually enjoys quite a bit. It's an aesthetic he always found to be striking and thought it would be cool to incorporate it into his manga. That said, while there are heavy Western influences littered throughout Kagurabachi, there are obviously Japanese influences as well. For instance, in preparation for the manga, Hokazono would actually visit a Japanese blacksmith to experience how katanas are made firsthand. The rhythmic striking of steel between a blacksmith and their assistant was something that he felt emphasized Chihiro's familial bond with his father, a bond that would serve as the backbone for the story. It seemed everything was coming together for Hokazono's new project, and once it finally debuted in the pages of Shonen Jump in September of 2023, needless to say, it made quite the impact. Kagurabachi would debut to very positive reception, and while a lot of it had to do with certain viral memes that were circulating around, which if you want to hear more about that, feel free to watch this video, but also it was just an incredibly well-made first impression. It stuck with people, and I think Kohei Horikoshi, the author of My
I don't know why that became such a meme though. Like it looks like a cool shot. I don't see what made it meme-ish though. It was only meme-ish because people was memeing it, but like why was it so meme-ish? I could really put it past my mind on what made people think this was extremely like memeable. It didn't come off memeable. Maybe it's because it looked super edgy. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But like I thought it was a cool shot. If you ask me, I think it looks just fine. It's fucking fine.
Hero Academia is the one that explained it the best.
Usually, with a debut serialization, creators focus on getting it approved by the editorial department, and in doing so, they suppress their personal quirks. The raw essence of what they find cool often gets lost in the process. But Kagurabachi keeps that essence right at the forefront. It shows that he values communicating his sense of coolness to readers. I thought, this guy has his own creative axis. I couldn't do that myself.
And from there, Kagurabachi would only get better and better. See, while Hokazono did look at old manga like Naruto for inspiration, this didn't keep him from also looking at what was new and current in Shonen Jump. He noted that the reason why manga like Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man were so fun to read was because of their brisk pacing. There was always
it was a good shot.
something interesting happening, and Hokazono would incorporate this into Kagurabachi. And one way he does this, according to him, is that he makes sure every chapter has at least one striking visual, some kind of wow factor that serves as the chapter's main point of interest. This is how he's able to keep things interesting not only for continuing readers, but also new readers. And it was this momentum that would carry Kagurabachi to success. It would only take a year for Kagurabachi to reach 1 million units sold, and by 2 years, it would triple that amount. As of this moment, Kagurabachi is sitting somewhere around 4 million copies sold, a very impressive feat for a manga that doesn't even have an anime yet. And speaking of anime, according to Toyo Keizai, a Japanese publication that specializes in business, apparently the anime rights to Kagurabachi caused a sort of crazy bidding war between several big-name Japanese companies, all trying to nab the rights to produce the anime. And while these were just rumors, this publication did successfully predict that Psypic would be animating Kagurabachi. And honestly, it's not really that hard to believe anyway. Kagurabachi was an incredibly promising series. It was practically made for anime. It makes sense that these companies would be jumping at the chance to produce it. And this is all a testament to its incredible author. When Takeru Hokazono wrote Chapter 1 of his first ongoing series, you'd expect him to be incredibly unsure of himself, maybe even a little nervous. But when he was interviewed in 2025, he said he had a lot of faith in that first chapter. He was confident that he had made something great, and I find an attitude like that something worthy of striving for. If there's anything I want to get across with this video, it's that if you want to make something special, you have to have confidence in what you create and the confidence to put it out there. And his confidence wasn't unfounded. He was willing to learn, not only from the media he'd grown up with, but from the current mangaka who were at the top of the industry and had proven successful strategies. And maybe this is why he was able to make such a successful manga at such a young age.
Mini living room? That's cool. That's awesome. College campus tour, we got to see our rooms, and that's awesome. Let's go.
Because instead of just wandering through the dark trying to figure out what makes a great manga through his own trial and error, he looked at what already worked and put his own spin on it. Takeru Hokazono is someone that any creator should take inspiration from, because he had the initiative to take the leap, the confidence to put his art out there, and the humility to learn from others.
That was positive. I think that was kind of cool. This is from Kisune Anime. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys for coming in. I do appreciate it. We did what we needed to do today. So if you guys enjoyed it, please let me know. So I'm not going to start editing the videos still out until Tuesday. So, or at least after the stream on Monday. Sorry, bro. We went through a lot of videos today, so we got to knock it out. We got to jump out of here. All right, later, Nate. Bri, remember to send me the 3 characters you want me to do? Yeah, those college universities are huge. There's a lot of space you gotta walk between a lot of places. All right, have a great night, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep safe. Great stuff. I'm out. Later, guys.